President-elect Muhammadu Buhari receives certificate of return. President Goodluck Jonathan congratulates Buhari on Saturday's presidential polls. People's Democratic Party in Akwa Ibom says it is undaunted with the results of presidential polls. And Encomiums heaped on Nigeria for conducting free and fair elections. Details shortly. Very good afternoon to you today and welcome to AQBC 45 News. My name is Methlin Mbong. A chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Tahiru Jega, has declared the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari, as the winner of the 2015 presidential election. Buhari polled 15,424,921 votes to emerge top ahead of his main rival, President Goodluck Jonathan of the People's Democratic Party, with 12,853,162 votes. Jega, who made the declaration after the collation of results at the National Collation Center at the International Conference Center in Abuja, said Buhari has met the requirement in Section 1342 of the 1999 Constitution to be elected as the President of Nigeria.
Having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
The constitutional requirement of winning a simple majority of the total votes cast, 25% of the votes in at least 24 states of the Federation during the presidential election. Meanwhile, President Goodluck Jonathan has congratulated General Muhammadu Buhari over the All Progressive Party APC's victory in the last Saturday's election. In a broadcast, President Jonathan thanked Nigerians for turning out en masse for the 28 March polls. He expressed joy that he has kept the legacy to expand the space for Nigerians to participate in the democratic process. The President encouraged persons who may be aggrieved following the outcome of the election results to follow due process based on the Constitution and electoral laws.
Country free and fair elections have kept my word. Have also expanded the space for Nigerians to participate in the democratic process. That is one legacy I would like to see endure. Although some people have expressed mixed feelings about the results announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, I urge those who may feel aggrieved to follow due process based on our Constitution and our electoral laws in seeking redress. As I have always affirmed, nobody's ambition is worth the blood of any Nigerian. The unity, stability, and progress of our dear country is more important than anything else. Today, the PDP should be celebrating rather than mourning. We have established a legacy of democratic freedom, transparency, economic growth, and free and fair elections. For the past 16 years, we have steered the country away from ethnic and regional politics. We created a pan-Nigerian political party and brought home to our people the realities of economic development and social transformation.
Jonathan also commended the security services for their roles in ensuring that the elections were mostly peaceful and violence-free. President Jonathan, who also conveyed his best wishes to General Muhammadu Buhari, pledged to continue to contribute his best to national growth. The President-elect, retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari, has pledged to respect the rule of law and exhibit justice and governance during his tenure as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. General Buhari made the pledge when he received a certificate of return from the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Tahiru Jega. General Buhari, who polled 15,424,921 votes to emerge top in the 2015 presidential polls, said he was humbled that Nigerians chose him to lead them and promised to change the destiny of the country positively. While lauding the APC faithful for working tirelessly to ensure his victory, a president-elect extended a hand of fellowship to President Goodluck Jonathan, describing him as a great Nigerian. He appreciated all who sacrificed their lives to deepen democracy in Nigeria and called for a minute's silence in their honor. General Buhari promised to serve the people diligently, describing his victory as victory for all.
Democracy and the rule of law will be established in the land. Let us put the past, especially the recent past, behind us. You shall be able to go to bed knowing that you are safe and that your constitutional rights remain in safe hands.
Presenting certificate of return to the President-elect, the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Tahiru Jega, commended the people for a peaceful electoral process and for giving them the opportunity to serve the country. Professor Jega lauded other political parties for conducting themselves well during the presidential and parliamentary elections and sued for such behavior in the upcoming general, gubernatorial and state assemblies elections. The Vice President-elect, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, was also presented with a certificate of return. A profile of Nigeria's President-elect Buhari shows that he was born on December 17, 1942 in Daura, Katsina State. He went to primary school in Daura and Mayadua from 1948 to 1952 before proceeding to Katsina Middle School in 1953. He attended the Katsina Provincial Secondary School, now known as Government College Katsina, from 1956 to 1961. On graduation from secondary school in 1961, Buhari went to the Nigerian Military Training School, Kaduna, in 1963. In October of the same year, Buhari was sent to the Officers Cadet School in Aldershot in the United Kingdom and was thereafter commissioned second lieutenant in 1963 as posted to the 2nd Infantry Battalion, Abeokuta, as platoon commander of the same year. It was at the Abeokuta garrison that the real traits of a great soldier were identified in the young man, Muhammadu Buhari. From 1963 to 1964, he was sent for further training on the platoon commander's course at the Nigerian Military College, Kaduna. Many other military institutions in Borden, England, Wellington, India, and the United States of America. Mohammed took over power, he appointed Buhari as governor of the northeastern state to oversee social, economic, and political improvement in the state. Buhari was appointed Federal Commissioner for Petroleum and Natural Resources in the Obasanjo regime in 1976 and later chairman of NNPC. General Buhari became head of state in 1983 until 1985, when his government was overthrown in a coup led by General Ibrahim Babangida. Between 1995 and 1998, Buhari served as the chairman of the Petroleum Trust Fund, a body created by the Abacha regime to pursue developmental projects around the country. Buhari contested the presidential election in 2003 on the platform of All People's Party, 2007 under the All Nigeria's People's Party, ANPP 2011, and on the platform of Congress for Progressive Change. He finally made it on the fourth attempt on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC. He polled 15,405,928 votes to beat his closest rival and incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan of the PDP, who scored 12,663,950 votes. Senate President David Mark has congratulated the President-elect retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari for emerging victorious at Saturday's presidential election. Buhari's winning the poll was a reflection of the wishes of the majority of Nigerians who elected him to the country. In a statement by his special advisor and publicity, Mr. Kola Olobodiyan, the Senate President described the victory as a reward for Buhari's resilience as a politician. However, Mark called on Buhari to be magnanimous in victory by carrying all Nigerians along in his agenda for Nigeria, irrespective of the political divide and creed. Mark was also full of praise for incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan, whom he said demonstrated sportsmanship in the outcome of the poll, and congratulating the winner. A Senate President noted that history would be kind to Jonathan for this singular act. Mark added that the result of the election was a victory for democracy, advising Nigerians to remain united and peaceful. Encomiums have poured in from the United States, European Union and the United Nations for the peaceful conduct of a Nigerian presidential election. This and more in Channel 45 National Fire News in segment with Mercia Care.
United States President Barack Obama has thanked Goodluck Jonathan for conceding defeat in an election that showed Nigeria's commitment to democratic. Mr. urged the President-elect and Jonathan to repeat calls to support, to continue to respect the election outcome, focus on unifying the country, and together lead Nigeria through a transition. The European Union has congratulated General Muhammadu Buhari on his victory. The EU High Representative Federica Mogherini says her tribute is to all those who were involved in making the elections peaceful, transparent, and credible. The United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has also congratulated General Buhari on his victory. General Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated President Goodluck Jonathan for peacefully relinquishing power and says he extends a hand of fellowship to the outgoing president. The president-elect first came to power on December 31st, 1983, taking over power from Alhaji Shehu Shagari through a military coup. He ruled till 27th August 1985 and was overthrown by the President Ibrahim Babangida government. Meanwhile, President Goodluck Jonathan says he will continue to do his best at the helm of the affairs of the nation till his tenure as president is over. Palestine has formally joined the International Criminal Court as its 123rd member. This comes as part of efforts to put international pressure on Israel and exact a higher price for its occupation of lands sought for a Palestinian state. A founding treaty had been signed since January. Israel is not a member of the ICC, but her leaders could now face charges if they are believed to have committed crimes on Palestinian territory. The International Criminal Court is an intergovernmental organization and international tribunal that sits in The Hague in Netherlands. The ICC has jurisdiction to prosecute individuals for the international crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. Spanish police have arrested a family of 4, including 2 teenagers, who were allegedly about to travel to Syria to become jihadi fighters. Spain has been carrying out raids on some suspected extremist cells in recent months. In Chile, deadly floods as a result of heavy rainfalls has caused the death of about 23 people, while 50 are still missing. Rivers burst their banks, sending flood water down into the valleys and towns. More than 4,500 people are without shelter, while the entire town now lacks drinking water.
Watching AKBC 45 News, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
This is a public service announcement. The government of Akwa Ibom State wishes to bring to the notice of visitors and residents of the state steps to take in preventing the incidence or spread of the deadly Ebola virus disease in Akwa Ibom State. The Ebola virus can be contacted through any of the following ways: contact with the body fluids of those who are visibly sick from the disease, contact with the corpse of somebody who died from the disease, contact with an animal that is carrying the virus, especially fruit bats and monkeys. Symptoms of this deadly disease include sudden high fever, persistent headache, diarrhea, vomiting, general weakness, joint and muscle ache, sore throat, chest pain, internal and external bleeding. To prevent this disease, wash your hands regularly with soap and water. Keep your environment clean and properly fumigate your surroundings if you have pests around. Report any suspicious symptoms in yourself or anyone to the nearest health facility immediately you notice them. Medical personnel should use personal protective equipment when handling suspected cases and corpses. Be careful when handling dead bushmeat. Spread the message. Tell your neighbors, colleagues, domestic staff, family members and friends. Akwa Ibom is safer when everyone is educated about Ebola. For more information, call the helplines 0812-769-8984, 0812-769-8959, 0812-769-8949. Ebola kills fast. Spread this message faster. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Communications, Akwa Ibom State.
Welcome back. 26 market stalls and viewing center have been constructed and donated to the people of Abautong in the local government area. The facilities provided by the Permanent Secretary Bureau of Cooperative Development and Food Sufficiency, Mr. Eddie Ayibio, are in memory of his mother, Mary Ayibio. Patience John reports.
The market stall situated at the popular Uramfona Abautong is a gift by Mr. Ayibio to the people, especially the women, to enhance their economic well-being. The Commissioner for Economic Development, Mr. Ante Okwong, inaugurated the projects. Explaining the rationale behind the construction of the new market stalls, the Permanent Secretary Bureau of Cooperative Development and Food Sufficiency, Mr. D. Ayibio, said it is in appreciation of the support his family enjoyed from the people of Abautong. He recalled how he promised that he will construct a modern market stalls for use by the community, a promise that he has fulfilled. Mr. Ayibio thanked the community for the show of love and support he enjoyed from his people and expressed the hope that the market stalls and the viewing center will impact positively on their socio-economic lives.
I told him, I'm going to make you happier that I replace detached sheds which I removed. I call it demolished. And today marks that date. And this is a manifestation of my promise.
The memorial service that preceded the commissioning was attended by eminent personalities including members of the State Executive Council, College of Permanent Secretaries, and a cross-section of Esreke community. The Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Fort Nkangude, and Mr. Ekpenyong Enyina lauded the decision by Mr. Ayibio to positively impact on his people by building the market stalls in the viewing center, which they noted will serve as a source of information to the people.
And I want to thank the donor who found it necessary that about some people deserve a beautiful thing like this. I say, may God continue to bless you.
I thank God so much for Mr. Ibo. What he has done today goes a long way to educate some of us that are in the civil service and some of us that are political appointees.
Earlier, Evangelist John, who preached on Treasure Your Name, reminded the people on the need to make good names while alive. Choirs from Koibu Church Akpautong, that of the Bureau of Cooperative Development in Food Sufficiency, and the choir of Union Technical College Ikpa sang at the occasion. Patience John reporting.
PDP in Akwa Ibom has said that the outcome of last Saturday's presidential election will not hinder its victory in the April 11 governorship and State House of Assembly elections. The state's PDP chairman Obong Polikpo, who gave the assurance in an enlarged meeting of party elders and stalwarts in Uyo, said that PDP is still on ground in Akwa Ibom State. Echenoi Bala tells us more.
The meeting, which took place at the State PDP Secretariat along the Rakpan Avenue, Uyo, was attended by national and state officers of the party, chapter and ward chairman, National Assembly members-elect, 26 candidates for the State House of Assembly, and the governorship candidate, Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel. The State PDP chairman, Obong Polikpo, who commended Akwa Ibom people for participating en masse in the elections, said the task of building and sustenance of the milestone recorded by the PDP government in Akwa Ibom State should not be thwarted or jeopardized. A call for more commitment, support, and loyalty from party faithful in the governorship and House of Assembly polls, and thanked them for their unshaken faith in the party. Obong Ekpo saluted the spirit of statesmanship exhibited by President Jonathan in accepting the outcome of the presidential election in Nigeria. It described the gallant gesture by President Jonathan as a demonstration of exemplary leadership for the sustenance of democracy in the country.
It is my privilege to also use this opportunity to thank all members of our party, the great PDP family in Akwa Ibom State, who have overwhelmingly won elections into the National Assembly. All the 3 senatorial seats and all the 10 House of Representatives seats for Akwa Ibom State. This shows that Akwa Ibom is still solidly a PDP state and will continue to remain so in subsequent elections.
The Director General Udom Moses Campaign Council, Otue Kongidons in Kanga, enjoined party leadership at all levels to reach out to supporters and work for the greater success of all PDP candidates in the April 11 elections.
We will continue to work within the PDP, within the region, and then work very hard for our state. I want to say I appreciate you. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. We shall win the election clear and square. Thank you, my God.
The PDP governorship candidate, Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, acknowledged the support of party members and stakeholders in the March 28th poll and called for more support for the success of the party in the coming elections, even as he reiterated his determination to consolidate good governance if voted into power.
You stood as a tribal people of PDP. So I sincerely want to thank all of you, and I thank the party for returning all House of Rep and Senators. 100% is a great feat that you've achieved.
Other stakeholders in the PDP also commended Akwa Ibom people the disposition of President Goodluck Jonathan and encouraged more support come April 11.
You have shown that the PDP is entrenched in Akwa Ibom State.
So let us remain calm and do what we know how to do best: organization, planning,
we want to again prove to people that PDP is our party and PDP is Akwa Ibom.
Reporting.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Communications, Mr. Oliver Odokwo, has tasked staff of the ministry to be diligent in their duties. Mr. Odokwo gave the charge while addressing staff of the ministry in Uyo on resumption of duties. He stressed the need for them to always adhere to the civil service rules and enjoined them to be punctual and regular at the workplace, warning that those who disobey will be sanctioned. The Permanent Secretary called on staff of the ministry to exhibit the spirits of teamwork and shun gossip and blackmail to create a conducive work environment for maximum productivity.
Punctuality is the soul of business. Please, note, I am using the word please. Let us try as much as possible to remain in our posts.
Delivering a message during the weekly solemn assembly, the Director of Information, Pastor Mike Etuku, preached the topic, God Shall Locate You, had admonished the staff to learn from the story of Joseph, David, and Esther, who were elevated by the special grace of God. He advised them to be committed as God who locates and elevates people shall do same to them.
And remember what for the time. Perhaps one day God shall remember what you did. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus.
The Director of Technical Services, Mr. Ian Jameson, expressed delight at the elevation and posting of the Permanent Secretary to the ministry and pledged loyalty, support, and cooperation of staff to enable the Permanent Secretary to succeed. As Christians prepare to commemorate Easter, the Seasons International Schools has held a Maiden Easter and Love Day party. It is to celebrate the love of Jesus Christ who died on the cross to save mankind. A love party which took place at the school's premises featured presentations by the pupils, including songs, drama, and recitations on what love really is.
Of men and of angels, but have not love. I am a noisy gun or a clapping cymbal.
Welcoming parents and guests to the love party, the proprietress of the school, Mrs. Akati Sen, said the event was organized to celebrate Jesus Christ, who paid the supreme price for humanity. She encouraged Nigerians and Christians to reciprocate the love of God while regularly showing love to the less privileged.
It's a time of rejoicing, a time of blessing and sharing to give meaning to life everywhere. Whatever this season might mean to you, remember that Christ came, died to fulfill God's redemption plan for mankind.
A chairman on the occasion, Pastor Ekpede Melkman, and the guest minister, Pastor F.J. Odoma of the Apostolic Church of Nigeria, dwelled on the reasons for the season, Jesus Christ, and appreciated the Christian foundation laid for the school. The proprietors of the school had earlier led the teachers and the pupils to the Daughter of Charity Motherless Home with variety of gifts.
And as we come here, we know that the blessings, all the things that we have for you, you will receive them with joy.
The Nigerian Guild of Editors NGE will hold its biennial convention on Saturday, April 25, 2015. A key highlight of the convention will be the election of the 16 officers and standing committee members to run the affairs of the Guild for the next 2 years. A statement by the Vice Chairman West of the NGE, who is also the Chairman of the Organizing Committee of the 2015 Biennial Convention, Mr. Steve Ayorinde, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, will host the event, which is scheduled to hold at the Lagos Airport Hotel, Ikeja. A former managing director of the defunct Sketch newspaper, Mrs. Dupe Ajayi, is the chairperson of the convention, while veteran journalist and fellow of the Guild, Mr. Stanley Egbochukwu, will lead the 7-man electoral committee. A statement said the convention, originally slated for March, was shifted by a month due to the postponement of Nigeria's general elections. It added that the convention, which is open to every fellow and member of the Guild, will see delegates arrive for accreditation on Friday, April 24. The event will also witness presentations on investment opportunities for editors and induction of new members at a gala night to round off the convention. Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation and Family Initiative organizers of the Easter 2015 special get-together for married couples have announced a shift in the date of the special couples get-together from April 6, 2015, which is Easter Monday. In a release made available to Channel 45 News Desk, a special couples get-together organizers said the shift in date is attributable to unforeseen development. They have therefore pleaded with those who already bought tickets for the event to keep them safe for use at a later date to be announced, even as they regret inconveniences the shift in date has cost the couples. That was the news, and before we go, a recap of the major highlights. What's your story on the President-elect retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari is pledged to respect the rule of law and exhibits justice and governance during his tenure as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. General Buhari met the pledge when he received a certificate of return from the Chairman of the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atahiru Jega. That's the news, and thank you for staying with us. My name is Meflin Mbong.
Knowledgeably innovative, beating other stations.